The Lee Holland Memorial Rally is the first of 2 visits to Anglesey for the Protyre Circuit Rally Championship, and the sun was shining on the circuit for round 6. Leading the way at the midpoint of the rally were Michael Igoe and Will Atkins, the reigning champions ending stage 3 with a slim advantage of just 5 seconds at the top of the leaderboard. It hadn't been that way all morning though. Former champions John Griffiths and Emma Morrison got off to a flying start, leading the way on the opening 2 stages of the day, but they dropped down to second place on the following stage, putting themselves into a chasing position for the afternoon.
Good, tightening the hairpin right. Come on. Flat right and then keep left.
Kyron Hankin and Ben Butterworth were showing some great pace on this round, keeping within sight of the top of the results and maintaining a podium position throughout the morning to end this stage in 3rd. And after the disappointment of retirement last time out, despite a chip and tea, John and Alex Stone will be looking to put some more points back on the board here at round 6. They were going well so far, 4th place, and just a few seconds back from those podium positions as well. Chris West and Keith Hounslow have the revs up and they lead the way in Class C. They make a good start to lead the 2-wheel drive crews in the 306 Maxi. Themselves not far off the crews up ahead either. The fight very much on, only 32 seconds separating the top 5 positions. Local driver Will Owen, with Motorsport UK Academy co-driver Robbie Sanford alongside, will be second of the 2-wheel drive crews. Though not out for championship points, they certainly had a point to prove and were going the right way about proving it. They lie in 6th place overall, always going well here. It would be the other escort of Dave Willett and John Davies lying in 3rd place in the class at this stage, ending the morning 7th on the overall leaderboard, just 8 seconds back from Owen. And we'd see a new car for Chris Woodhouse and Lucy Wilding, swapping the Peugeot R2 for a Fiesta Rally 2. And a former M-Sport run car no less. They settle in well. With no mileage under their belts though, they had no expectations. 8th place was a solid start. For Bradley Carroll and Gareth Short, it will be 9th. The pair were chasing the Class C result, but for now, it will be 4th in that class. And rounding out the top 10 with a crowd-pleasing Alistair Stables and Neil Jones. The Chevette pair dropping ever so slightly in the final stage of the morning, but things still going well so far. Let's take a look at some of the positions in the classes outside of the top of the results then. And it will be first in Class B for Christian Davies and Ethan Sadrowski. They were also lying in 19th position overall in the Fiesta. And they'd have Tony and Chris Davies to watch out for in 2nd place. A little way back in the class, but still only 11 seconds, so it was hardly over yet. In Class D, it will be Chris Berry and Lucy Gutteridge who lead the way. They'd also sit just outside the top 10 as well, in 11th place overall. And just 1 position and 3 seconds back from them will be Mai Davies and Dylan Thomas. The class fight certainly looking like a close one here at Anglesey. Class E would see Xavier Brooke and Jonathan Cragg leading the way in the Mazda. And they had a good solid lead as well in that class, 40 seconds the advantage to be exact. And that advantage was over this pair, Richard Kay and Ryan Whitty. The Corsa pair 2nd in the class and a few positions back on the overall leaderboard as well. And in Class F, it will be Gareth Roberts and Ben Forrester who take the lead over the morning stages in the Citroën. They end the first half of the day with 30th place overall, almost a minute of a lead in the class as well. 2nd in that class will be Hoen Hughes and Christopher Phillip. The micro pair having to watch out behind them though. The other crews were closing in. So with the morning loop of stages complete here at Anglesey, here's how the leaderboard is shaping up. Once again, the Junior 1000 Championship joined the championship here at Anglesey and competed ahead of the Circuit Championship crews. And it will be Ollie Forrester and George Myatt who come away with victory here at the Lee Holland stages. It was a close battle though. Mackenzie Snowden and Jonathan Turnbull fighting all the way to the finish and missing out on the win by just 3 seconds. And just behind them, another 3 seconds in fact, will be William Patterson and Barry Young. The podium positions being filled out by Skoda Citygoes this weekend. How the face of this championship changes season after season. Clearly, this is currently the car to have. Also joining the Circuit Championship regulars on this event were the crosskars, providing something different and putting on a show around the circuit, that is for sure. It will be Richard Rees who comes out on top by the end of the event in his Mygale XC04. And he'd be just ahead of James Morgan in a similar car. James, of course, usually in the co-driver's seat, but this weekend he was having to do it all in these single-seat machines. And putting the Escort to one side for this weekend only will be Will Rowlands, enjoying a very different kind of challenge and having a lot of fun in something new this weekend, ending the event with the final podium position. The afternoon in the class results wouldn't see any change in the Class F fight, if you could call it that. Owen Hughes and Christopher Phillips managing to hold off any advances to take that second place in the class. And that, of course, means that it's the class victory for Gareth Roberts and Ben Forrester, taking that top spot as well as 27th on the overall leaderboard. We'd see a bit of change in Class E though. Graham Chesters and Zoe Irvine taking second in the class. But taking the Class E victory would be Xavier Brooke and Jonathan Cragg, and it was a huge advantage by the finish of the rally as well. A good result for the Mazda pair. 50 seconds will be the eventual gap to the lead of Class B for Tony and Chris Davies, but they will be happy enough with that second spot this weekend in the Evo. But that means it's no change for Christian Davies and Ethan Sudrowski. They take the Class B victory as well as 17th overall. Class D would see the top 2 positions changing hands through the afternoon, and that meant that Chris Berry and Lucy Gutteridge would eventually end the event second place in the class. Finishing the all-important one step ahead of them will be Mai Davies and Dylan Thomas, stepping up to take that class win. And not only that, they round out the top 10 overall as well. For Alistair Stables and Neil Jones, it will be a move up the right direction into 9th. Not the best of finishes compared to what we've seen from them before, but one that they'd be happy with after that start this weekend. Chris Woodhouse and Lucy Wilding seemed to have a mountain to climb ahead of them this weekend, but climb it they did. They got used to that new car as they went along. A big step driving something like this for the first time, but they end the rally 8th overall with a lot to take away before the next round. The rest of the leaderboards staying pretty much as we left it after this morning's stages. Dave Willett and John Davies taking 3rd in Class C, with it 7th place overall. Just ahead of them were Will Owen and Robbie Sanford, 2nd in the class for the Escort pair, where they were giving the spectators plenty of sideways action as they reached the end of the rally with 6th overall. Taking the win this weekend in Class C though were Chris West and Keith Hounslow. A good end to the event for our former Circuit Rally champions, of course, and the first of the non-4-wheel drive cars, as well as they finish in 5th overall. There was no podium to celebrate this time out for John and Alex Stone, but they were close. It wasn't that long back they were leading the championship, of course. They end the event with 4th place overall, getting their season back on track at this round. Kyron Hankin and Ben Butterworth, meanwhile, continued their good run of form as they kept themselves on the podium and in the hunt. Their best result in the championship to date. They'll be looking forward to continuing that into the final 3 rounds and seeing what could just be possible. Despite a big push, John Griffiths and Emma Morrison were simply unable to claim back that top spot that they'd held early on. The times had briefly dropped to a 10-second gap, only for them to claw back some of that and get it back down to just 5 seconds. Sadly though, despite being this close, it would have to be 2nd place this weekend. And despite that Skoda coming on strong through the afternoon, it was victory for Michael Igoe and Will Atkins. They managed to hold off that advance from behind to take another win to add to their tally here on the Lee Holland Memorial Rally. So 6 rounds complete here in the Protyre Circuit Rally Championship, 3 to go. And here's a reminder of how those results looked by the finish here at Anglesey. Next up, the crews head to the East Midlands. It's Donington Park up next as we go into the final third of the season. And there will be a lot of eyes on the points next time out. We will see you for the Donington Park Dukeries stages next time out in the Protyre Circuit Rally Championship.